Yeah. Oh, I'm way too big. Hold on. I'm so used to doing this on the other screen. There we go. There we go. All right, what's popping, y'all? It's your boy, OK Bet, aka K Trades. We back with a banger, man, with another video. Bro, we went absolutely insane today. Call swings up 300%. I don't know what they went, sort of. I don't know what they went to, but I'd really rather not check. I'm pretty sure they did like 800% or something like that. But if you watched yesterday's video, you knew the game plan. Wait for dips, buy some calls, right? What did I say yesterday? Go long. Go long, we'll see 730, right? So we saw 730 in pre-market. We got a pullback, a beautiful, nice pullback into the open. I was kind of sad. I was like, bro, there's no way they're going to just keep pumping it right now. So they actually gave us a nice little pullback, right? Caught the calls off the open. Just super, like I said, super simple play, man. Like, and it's crazy because, like I said, we're all-time highs because, we got to make levels as we go. So I had to kind of make these levels on the fly, so we'll see for sure how well they respect it, in future, in the future. But as of now, they worked out pretty good. So we had the nice little 730, 35, and 731. So that was the two zones, right? We kind of got that look right here. We got a nice little pop, retest, tried to hold, and then couldn't. Little inverse head and shoulder. So of course, right, where are we gonna come back to? Right, we're in a bull market. So you look to buy dips, right? You can short, but I'm not doing that. Not yet, right? We're not doing. Obviously, we'll do 0DT intraday puts, stuff like that, but nothing too crazy, man. So yeah, so we got that, and then once we got this first, remember, I don't remember if I went over this in the entire video yesterday, but remember this upper zone that I was talking about was our target. Remember? So look, this is where we kind of consolidate, and then we sold off. So now that we're returning, this was my target, right? To come back in this zone, so this whole zone. So that's why I said I'm going to be longing into this zone, buying time, because like I said, we could instantly reject it. Tomorrow we could reject, get a pullback, whatever. Or like I said, we could just fly right through it, which we ended up doing overnight. So we ended up closing, I think like 725 or something. We gapped all the way up. So of course, like I said, we gap up, we got to pull back. So we're going to be looking for call entries, right? So the only way we would have went short, like I said, is if we, hit that, right here, right at the 730 level. So if we would have got this here, and then rejected and then got back below 730, we obviously target, yesterday's high gap fill. There's obviously a gap below because we gapped up so crazy, but none of that happened. So we had to be patient. Remember, we already had these levels already up here. So this was all I was waiting for. So of course I went long, smacked, I think 130 something. I forget. We went absolutely crazy today. But 130, I think, on the 1DTs at first. Waited for this beautiful channel to build up some liquidity. Nice little bull flag. Like I said, me, I'm always drawing stuff out before I have it. So I drew this out at, I think, it like 9 o'clock. So this was already, the game plan. So I was looking for a dip into this zone. So I have the same, I have a bunch of charts for different stuff. So look at this one. It looks a little cleaner. There we go. This one right here. So like I said, we were already in this aggressive buying channel for a while now, right? So until we break it, you just keep going long. Obviously, you're not blindly going long. You're waiting for pullbacks, retests, breakout retests. You're waiting for any kind of confirmation, inverse head and shoulder, anything that can kind of give you, an entry for the move. So we got the nice move, and we stayed inside the channel, man. So of course, like I said, I'm just buying and holding. So we did obviously go 0 DTE long, around lunchtime. So we grabbed some 0 DTEs. They went 200%. I sold at 240% right here because it was crazy because I had 733s and 734s, but I accidentally market sold all 734s. My fault, 733s, and then I accidentally sold all my 736s for 1DTs. But it's fine because I ended up holding the 734s, 0DTs, and ended up going 200% anyway. So yeah, it was absolute banger today, man. So like I said, as long as we're still in this channel, obviously we had to watch out for this rising wedge just to make sure that nothing was crazy. But we didn't break down. So if we break down overnight, well, obviously that was the game. That was the recap. So let's get into the game plan for tomorrow, right? So I'm still on vacation, so I'm trying to get this under 10 minutes. So yeah, so we do actually have this rising wedge. You got to be careful of any kind of overnight gap down or something into these levels. You still got to watch for, right? Anything to where, obviously mark your previous day's close, right? Wherever we close that, mark that. It's going to be your your pivot point, because like I said, we're at all-time high. So we don't have any hard solidified levels just yet. We just have look left, look down, you'll see what we got from there. So we gap down, obviously watch for the close, right? If we can get back above 733, 734 area, hold. Aim for, if we have overnight high targets, or even this target right here, like if we have overnights. If not, like I said, you just got to buy time and just let it go, and that's kind of what we did today. Hey, as long as this channel's holding, then I'm gonna just hold, you know, and it kept holding and it held all day. So of course we banked pretty crazy today. So yeah, so like I said, if that's the case, bull case, right? We get back above previous day close, break above 734, we continue up higher. Like I said, I do have this zone above us, right? Just because this is where we've been, but this is a huge zone, right? This is just a huge zone. This is a daily, right? It's a daily zone. So obviously I don't expect like short-term reactions in here. So hopefully we get this kind of pullback overnight, right? That'll be beautiful. 732, and then also it'll be like that original all-time high where we first popped at the beginning of the day. Come back, test that, give us a super big breakout, retest, and then continue even higher, right? So that's what I would be looking for if we do hold that 732 right on a gap down. Let's say we gap, we don't go up first, right? We don't we don't close the gap and go. Let's say we gap for reversal or something, right? Or let's say we even hold down here, right? And no matter where we gap, no matter where we go, anything between here, anything between 732 and 734. So anything between 732 and 734, be careful shorting it, because like I said, we got to just keep moving our levels up, right? And like I said, we don't have days and hours. We only have, a few candles to work with. So got to be very careful with that. And the same thing happened today, right? We still got to see it in 4K that even though we didn't really have many levels to work with, we still used what we had. So we had the, breakout, retest, double bottom, right? Once pre-market, once market hours open, nice little push. So same thing's going to apply, right? If we do keep going up, like I said, just buy time, be patient. But like I said, you do got to watch out for that rising wedge. That is pretty scary. So anything underneath 732, you got yesterday's pre-market high, yesterday's original. I wouldn't even call it a high day, but you can still mark it 732.50, right? So anything under 732.50 and 731, you got the same levels as yesterday. So the level we bought off, the 731, the 730, 729, and anything below that, like I said, you just gotta really just look left, and the only thing we really have below that is let me see, where's my other chart? Yeah, we got like the 725s, we do have a gap below. So, that is one thing you could, possibly try to identify, maybe try to fill the gap or something. But it's, this thing has just been on a tear. This thing is on a tear. So I don't plan on, like I said, shorting anytime soon. Obviously, we'll play 0DTs or something like that. But, if we do get a massive dump or something crazy, obviously, like I said, the 5-day will move up again. It's been constantly moving up with us. So if we do get a pullback, right, we break below 730. Boom, retest, break below yesterday's low, or I guess today's low. We break below today's low. You can try to target the gap or wherever the 5-day is, but I'm just not. Yeah, man, it's just not. I'm not looking for really too many insane short entries, especially in this strong channel. Right? We actually move this out the way. So yeah, move this out the way, and then so we're just super aggressive right now. So as long as that's holding, like I said, you really can't be too aggressively short into this market, right? Like it's just gonna keep grinding up. It's been consistently doing. We went from this channel, then we got aggressive with it, started buying directly up. So, and I know Trump speaks tonight as well at 7. So that'll definitely, if he speaks on anything that has to do with Iran, I know he was talking about UFC or something. So like I said, if we do come back into here, right, all the liquidity is trapped in this channel. So if we do come back here, watch for a sweep, because we do have a breakout retest. It could sweep it, trick and trap, and then squeeze higher. So you definitely got to watch for that. So yeah, that 730 to 728 is going to be just a zone to watch, right? Anything that holds above, buy time, go long, trim your profit as you go. Even today, like I said, I sold a lot of the contracts pretty early, but it's just because I don't have many targets, to go off of. We try to use the fibs. Once the first fib hit, I sold, second fib hit. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take it from there. And I ended up thankfully being the top for the day. So we finally got some relief. I didn't feel too much FOMO for leaving everything on the table. But so anything over, like I said, 730, 28. If this holds, remember, anything can happen in here. So it could chop, right? You just want to see a reaction in these levels. So you either want to see break down, retest, right? Continue down 724. You got a gap down here as well. Mind you, remember this, we have a bunch of liquidity stacked up down here as well. So if this does want to come down, we'll see it. We'll see it. We'll be, we'll catch it. You don't got to rush it. Don't rush it. But yeah, so you got, and honestly, if he wants to go down, you got a nice little, little left shoulder and a little head right there. So if it does come down, any kind of pop, right, attempt to close this gap or something, if it fails and you loses that tomorrow's low day or whatever the case may be, that 730, watch for the, same targets, and watch for the low. You possibly could have like a little, head and shoulders building. But yeah, like I said, don't come into tomorrow with a bias. Even yesterday, like I said, like obviously I want us to continue to go up, at least until we can I'd say at least until we can hit like, 740 or something, in between that 738, 740. That would be ideal, right? And then maybe consolidate. But like I said, anything's possible. So if we do gap down, if this is like the blow off top, and this is just the last thing, I saw a lot of bears finally admitting they're bullish today. So you know what that means. Be careful. Whenever the people switch sides, you got to be careful, because now that means retail is now starting to flip. So if retail is flipping, then I mean big money is going to be like, gotcha, Same way everybody was trying to short on the way up, and it kept squeezing people out of their shorts. Same way. So people keep trying to buy, at the top, buy the top. One day, we might get just a huge red candle back to the 5 or wherever, So, yeah, be careful. Mark your 5-day and your 20-day. It's starting to creep up now. We're at 720, but we will eventually come back and test the 20-day, right? Wherever it continues to move, right, wherever, we'll come back and test it within this month. That's for sure. So, yeah, just be careful. Don't, like I said, don't be going too heavy in the calls. I've actually sized down a little bit just because, like I said, a Trump tweet or anything could just send us right down. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Cut it here. And, yeah, I'll be live trading tomorrow for sure. Finally, in the hotel and stuff like that. So keep it simple. Keep banking. Keep making money on. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. So when I go live, I don't want to hear I missed it. None of that, bro. Every time we go live, we catch some bangers. So, yeah, let's just keep doing it. And, yeah, I'll see y'all.